You're listening to Moon Monkey. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the new film Baywatch.
It was directed by Seth Gordon, and this is a reboot of the late 80s, 90s TV show The Rock running around the beach doing some slow motion running, as you would expect from a Baywatch movie. And he finds some drugs washed up on the beach, which coincides with also the annual Baywatch tryouts, where members of the public try to get on the Baywatch team. But during the tryouts, The Rock is told by his boss he has to hire Matt Brody, who's played by Zac Efron, and he has real trouble playing as a team because he's more of an individual kind of guy, and he doesn't really suit Mitch Buchanan's idea of the Baywatch team.
Yeah.
And so there has to be lifeguards busting crime basically throughout this movie, when really should they be, or should they just phone the police? But that's the whole idea.
And also,
of Baywatch.
Matt Brody's joined by two other new recruits, Ronnie and Summer. So there's three people that they accept onto kind of lifeguard training.
Which there's only supposed to be one.
Program. Yeah, it was very convenient because it's like literally the other three people that you meet happen to be the three that are chosen.
They all made it amazing.
Go on to lifeguard training under the tutelage of Mitch, played by Dwayne Johnson, and Stephanie as well. So yeah, the film is kind of very much goes along like the parody line, some similar to things like 22 Jump Street. Yeah. It's like rather than be a straightforward remake, taking it seriously, like they realized this show was a ridiculous show, so they go along the parody route of trying to kind of make fun of some of the tropes of the show and some of the more over-the-top elements in the show.
And you get that immediately, because the opening credits is The Rock coming out of the water.
Yeah.
And behind him, the massive Baywatch thing crashes into the ocean. Some dolphins dance across the screen, and everything's bursting into flames.
Yeah, while he's carrying a guy out of the water.
It knows it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's what makes it.
I feel
so
like
enjoyable.
Through the film, like it kind of dipped in and out. Like we both said early on, it was reminiscent of things like Airplane. Like it's just joke after joke, and like has that kind of sense of humor about it, but then it seems to go into like another style of comedy, more kind of subtle, like just a more regular comedy, not like the just one joke after another style. And then at points it just goes into flat out drama. They just start doing a drama with a few jokes in it, and then it will go back to like the parody like making fun of everything again. Like the tone was like all over the place. Like it didn't have a consistency throughout it.
I don't know if I ever felt like I was watching a drama, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's trying to be an action movie. It's trying to be a comedy. It's trying to be like a spoof of Baywatch. It's not taking itself so seriously, but I mean, it's
well, it was kind of like in the central plot. Like they find the drugs and then they go after like the source of it and things. Yeah. But there were points when it cut to like the bad guys when. I guess it was just the fact that some of the jokes weren't hitting, or there weren't too many jokes in there, that it seemed like even though they're making fun and they know the show was kind of silly, they're actually starting to do like the show. They're just starting to do a plot that could have been in the show. And they seem to be doing it kind of straight-faced, in a sense, like not completely making fun of it. Like in Airplane, like there's no point of Airplane where they're starting to take things seriously. Whereas this felt like partway through they were like, yeah, let's actually do a serious kind of crime drama. Not serious, I mean, it's still jokes, but like a little more serious. I
agree some of the stuff with Victoria Leeds, who is the main bad guy, doesn't always work, but I think it knows that the whole idea of Baywatch in the movie is ridiculous.
I just felt like her bits were kind of dull. It seemed like some characters were aware that...
It took away from the jokes when she was on screen.
Some characters were aware that they were in like a parody movie, and some didn't seem aware of it. They thought they were just making like a remake, a Baywatch movie.
She was trying to be evil. She was trying to be the bad guy. Yeah. But it didn't really work in that movie because it's just all ridiculous.
And again, it's like the tone of some of the things, like the scene in the mortuary where there's like a naked corpse there. It was kind of laugh out loud funny, but then that's like there's outrageous humour, but then there's more just like puns and jokes. You know, it was just a little disjointed at points. But like I do have to say, it did make me laugh a lot. Like early on, more than I I mean, the trailers looked really funny, and I think it delivered on the promise of the trailers, which made it look like a kind of funny, like silly but funny movie.
I mean, I went in like ridiculously low expectations, like seriously low. I was like, why am I going to see this? But it was really funny, and I didn't think it would be as funny. And I know it was ridiculous and it was stupid, but it knew it was. It wasn't taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
And even like the comic relief character, like was it Ronnie?
Yeah.
Played by John Bass. Like he was really funny and really likable, and so was like Dwayne Johnson is always likable.
Yeah.
And even Zac Efron, who I didn't really think I was gonna. But he was good. They were all good in it. There was some good performances, and like the Summer and CJ, they were all really good as well. You know, it was like the whole cast was good.
The Ronnie character, I didn't think was too great, but the Zac Efron's character was definitely really good, and The Rock's really charismatic.
But it's like a comic relief character, like Ronnie's character. Usually you're like, oh, he's just there to do jokes, but he's really like those type of characters are just really annoying.
That's what
like,
he was there for.
No, but you know, like usually they're just really annoying in this. But you're like, you actually had some kind of feeling for him. You wanted to see him succeed. You didn't want to see him get degraded and laughed at.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was hilarious to watch him be degraded and laughed at. But you had that little bit more feeling for him, I think.
I quite like the Zac Efron character because they did actually give him some kind of emotional background, and he was kind of like, you found out why he doesn't like working on a team and why he'd rather like just be a kind of arrogant prick and just work by himself and try and rescue everybody by himself. But yeah, so you kind of felt bad for him partway through as well. Yeah, it's kind of a difficult one because I don't think anyone's going to have huge expectations for this because the show, to be fair, the show was just a lot of attractive people running around in bathing suits or swimming trunks.
And you do have this.
Yeah.
Not as much as I expected to.
I mean, the film knows what it is. Yeah. And also they do, like we say, they make a lot of references to the fact that most people who watch the show were just there to stare at breasts. And they even point that out a number of times in this and say that's pretty much what we're doing here.
They poke fun at it with saying like, "Oh, look, why are our swimsuits so ridiculously cut this way?" And like, why are they riding up so much? You know, why is everyone running in slow motion? What's wrong with them?
Yeah,
you know, they poke fun at themselves, and they know it's a ridiculous movie, but that's what makes it good because they're poking fun at it.
But it was just kind of like a weird watch because that's the thing. It was so self-aware at times. But then it would have to come back to do the story, and it seemed like it wasn't really self-aware when it was doing the story. That the story wasn't that interesting. That's the thing. They could have maybe spent less time on that because it really was not the most. The most fun part of it was really seeing The Rock and all the cast together, kind of doing their jokes and doing their like shtick or whatever, doing their little bit. And then the plot was kind of you just felt like, do we really have to do this story? Because this is really not interesting. I just want to go back to like them doing jokes and things about it. But yeah, the screening we're in actually, like a lot of people were laughing. So I think like you would enjoy it. It's obviously just ridiculous, but kind of fun. Like you can't. Like that's the worst thing for a comedy, I guess, is just nobody laughing or it being boring. And it definitely wasn't boring.
No, it was
even though it was bizarre and weird. Like you are laughing.
Some of the CG was a bit rubbish. Like when they had some explosions and things.
I've heard people ask like whether you think or whether they thought that was intentional, like whether it's meant to be bad. So you're laughing. Because I didn't. Because I was like, it's really bad CG with the fire. But you're not sure if you're meant to be laughing at that because it's like, they're making fun of the bad special effects in the show.
After the intro, I was like, anything goes. After you've had dolphins dancing across the screen,
and CG dolphins doing synchronized diving,
and then exploding
in the beginning.
Baywatch title, I was like, anything goes after this. You know, it's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact they were making fun of the idea that lifeguards are constantly getting involved in police work. By solving murders and crimes.
But they're constantly saying, like, why don't you just phone the police? Like, Zac Efron's there, like, why don't you just phone the police? You're a lifeguard. You shouldn't be doing this. You're here to, like, save people from swimming and work on your tan. Yeah,
there's points even when they, like, reference old Baywatch episodes and say, this just sounds like a terrible TV show. A terrible idea for a TV show. So, yeah, and we had a cameo, David Hasselhoff cameo partway through. the obligatory cameo by him and Pamela Anderson.
Do you know what annoyed me? I thought they showed it right at the start. They had it in the credits, and I was like, just don't put that in there, because that would have been a nice... I mean, you probably know what's going to happen, but...
Yeah, it would have been more of a surprise.
Yeah, it kind of... Yeah, it gave too much away.
Yeah, I mean, the Pamela Anderson, she was hardly in it. She was in it
she
for like
never
1
even
minute.
got a line.
Yeah.
It was such a slap in the face.
The David Hasselhoff one was quite funny, actually, because I like the fact that, basically in this, all the characters are playing either characters or amalgams of characters from the show. So, like, Dwayne Johnson's playing Mitch
Buchanan. Meets Mitch Buchanan.
And he meets himself. Even though there's an earlier scene when there's a set of keys from David Hasselhoff as Mitch. So it really makes no sense.
No, it was Mitch meeting Mitch. It was never Hasselhoff. It was always Mitch.
Who? No, I know, but the picture was of David Hasselhoff as Mitch Buchanan.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the two characters are actually named, they're actually playing the same guy. So that's what was kind of weird about that scene and made me laugh, because it's like so...
I did get a laugh.
Breaking the fourth wall and so out of place. You know, I would recommend it if you want to see something that you can kind of leave your brain at the door, and it's just simple fun and humorous. Like, you don't really have to think about it too much, and there are kind of, outrageous humour that I guess will appeal to a lot of people. Also, like, they really go hard on, like, the high rating. Like, there's a lot of the F word in there. There's a lot of, like, adult humour, I guess you would say, and crude humour. Yeah. They kind of play up to the fact that they don't have to be, like, kid-friendly, because it's not on TV anymore. So that was kind of fun to see that in the Baywatch movie.
I mean, I went and I was like, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be a terrible, terrible movie. And it's just going to be lots of people running, and it's going to have some cameos. But it was done well, and, you know, it was funny. It was, like, self-referential. And, yeah, there was loads of, like, it was really snappily written as well. And, like you're saying, it's just a good escapism movie. Yeah. So, and we saw that after Pirates of the Caribbean, which we just reviewed previously. Yeah, so it was definitely a step up from that. It was a step up from Pirates of the Caribbean. Sorry, Johnny Depp. Yeah, after Pirates of the Caribbean was kind of dull, but, like, at least this... Like, this was entertaining, it was funny. It was entertaining. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd recommend it, and you would too. Yeah, I would recommend it as... kind of fun movie. Obviously, it's not going to win any awards, and it's not. I wouldn't even say it's like one of the a fantastic comedy. It was just there were humorous parts in it, like there were funny moments in it. But then, I think people know what to expect. If you like the trailer for it, you'll probably like the film because it's more of the same, like that same sense of humor and kind of outrageous, like adult. Style Baywatch. Matthew secretly loves it, but won't admit it. That was our Moon Monkey review of Baywatch. Remember to like and subscribe our page and check out our blog, and we'll be back with another review pretty soon.